Hello everyone. Today we're gonna review what we did in the class. Let's see. I can't even remember what we did in the class, but so yeah, we're gonna do the assignment 12 together, the better jump. So we're gonna recreate the jump project again, but instead of respawning a set of coins after every coins are collected, we're gonna just respawn each one of them individually. We're gonna animate the coin by making it spins over time. We're gonna create a particle effect, right? We're gonna implement the object pooling system. So what do we mean by object pooling system for those who don't remember? So instead of, using the instantiate and destroy functions to respawn the coins every time that they are collected, instead we're gonna have a set of array. So let's say at the beginning of the game, maybe we're gonna have 5 coins in the array. So we're gonna instantiate those coins only once, and then after they are collected, to respawn, we're gonna just make them invisible and reappear whenever we want. We're gonna also add the sound effect and the music, and yeah. So let's start it. First thing first, we're gonna create the UD. So I hope that you guys find this review sessions useful. Just takes your time, okay? These thing is not that hard once you're familiar with it, and I don't want you guys to just copy the code. Just try to understand every steps and try to do it yourself. You can still search on the internet. That is something that you should be proficient with, especially if you are the computer engineer, right? You have to be able to think. You need the mindset to understand a set of problems and how to disassemble it into a smaller sets or simpler sets of problems and solve it but one by one and know how each thing fits together. So there's some kind of how do you call it, the object-oriented programming kind of. And another thing is the ability to Google anything that you need in order to finish your projects. And then another thing is the ability to debug. When you're stuck at somewhere, try to read the error message first, okay? And knows how to scope down the problems so that you can identify what is going on. Okay, then, but anyway, let's see. Better jump. Okay, let's see. Let's go. Just wait a second. It's creating the project. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So now we are ready. First thing first, again, we did these steps so many times now. But anyway, so now we create a plane, right? Actually, how can I visualize the keyboard? Let's see, maybe it's here. No? Oh yeah. Okay, so now you so that you can see what I'm typing, or the short how do you call it, the hotkey. Yep. Okay, so first I'm gonna create, this is the floor, right? So I rescale it into 10 10 10, so it's big enough, and then I'm gonna create a cube again. this is a player, okay? Maybe make it above the ground a little bit. This is the directional light, right? Do you see the directional light? Right now it's too bright, so I change it to 25% or 0.25. And then now we have the player. Okay, first thing first, I'm gonna create the folder called script to make it more organized. I'm gonna create the C# script called player. And actually, by the way, this is not the best way to, how do you call it? I talk about the object-oriented programming, right? And in this tutorial, or what we did so far, we almost put everything inside one class, which is not the best, practice. But anyway, so now I create the script. So first thing first, I'm gonna add the movement functionalities, right? So you can still remember that, like how to add the physics, right? Like in order to add the physics, I'm gonna add the rigid body. So once you have the rigid body, they're gonna be the gravity. You can see that it's fall down. Anyway, so now in order to make it move, we're gonna add the force. And in order to add the force, we need the reference to the rigid body. So just create the rigid body and call it rigid. And then I'm gonna add the reference. So there are two ways to add the reference. So the first way is that, like, once I create the variables like this, you can just, okay, I need to add the player component or the script that we just create, right? We create the script, we add it to it. And then we see when it's here, we can call it component. And then you can see that I create the variables called rigid, but to reference it, you can just drag and put it like this. Another way to do it in this case is that, like, I can get the component, right? Because there's the rigid body component inside this game project already. So I can just use this function. You see, get component, and then I can put like this. This is another way. So when I do this, I don't have to drag and drop by myself. You can see that right now I just take it away. So right now I haven't. So right now I haven't drag and drop it. Oh, sorry. I haven't referenced it inside the editor. I just do it by the code. Yeah. So right now I have the reference, right? Use if else again to take the input, get key, and then what is it? Key code something. Key code A. This is like move left, okay? And then we're gonna add the force to the rigid body that is attached to this player game object, okay? And then we get the tree because it's the 3D game. That's 0F, 0F, okay? And I just want to do force move, maybe 4F, okay, and just multiply here. Yeah, I'm just gonna go very fast because we did these things several times now, but in order to make it jump, so it's gonna be on the y-axis instead, right? So you remember, right? Right now we have x-axis. So in order to move left, the x-axis, x value is gonna be negative values in order to make it move left, and then the right is gonna be the positive value and then you can multiply by the amount of force you want. But to make it jump, then we have to add the force to the y-axis. Okay, and call force jump df. Okay, and then if you remember, you can also specify the force mode, right? You can see this is inside these two tips. You can add the force, and this has to be the Wexter tree. And then for the force mode, it can be, there are 4 types. You can look into the documentation, but because I want it to be the force mode dot impulse, so what it does is to add the force instantly, kind of like make it pop out from the floor. So that's why I put the force mode as the impulse. So right now, if we do everything correctly, we can move, I guess. No, I'm not sure. Okay. Let's see. After get key. It should be correct, I guess. Oh. Okay. Where's the player? Somehow jumping already works. The force move. Maybe it has to be 6. A. I mean, the position is already. Why is that? Did we do something wrong? Let's see. Rigid, new, Wex. Oh, okay. Okay. So the mistake was, before that, when I press A, it's gonna add force to the left and also add the force to the right. So that's why it's like, it's staying still, because we add equal forces on both sides. I have to change it to D. So right now it should work. Okay. Anyway, so now we have accomplished these things. What's next? Then we have to check whether the cube is on the floor or not before allowing the player to jump, right? So right now we have the collider, we have the box colliders here. The floor also has another collider, it's called mesh collider in this case. Yeah, so we're gonna check first. First thing first, I'm gonna create the boolean call on floor. By default, it's gonna be false. And then on collision, enter to check the collision. So when it has when the player collides with any object, it's gonna check first whether the game object has a tag called floor or not. Okay, if it hits the floor, then we're gonna set on floor to true. But if not, collision exit, then it's gonna be false. Okay, and I'm gonna add more collision here. So when the player hits the space bar, it's gonna also have to check whether on floor is true. If it's true and the player hits space bar, then the character is gonna jump, or else it's not gonna jump, right? Because it's still not on the floor. Okay. Oh, I forgot it. I forgot to add the tag here. So this is how you add the tag. You see the inspector, you add the tag. Okay. Okay, I think it should work. Okay, it already works. Yeah, so we have done 2 things, right? And then we're gonna add a coin. Okay, let's do the coins. We use the cylinder here. It's gonna be 0, 1, 2. Rotation X. Okay, we have a coin now. This thing, I'm gonna rename it to coin. And yeah. So what I want is the trigger. So you will still remember difference between on collision enter and on trigger enter, right? So if you use it on collision enter, that's mean you want this coin to act like a wall, right? You still remember, like, so if you want to check the collisions and also want it to prevent the object to go through it, then you use the on collision enter. But if not, if you want to only check the collisions but allow the other game object to go through it, then you use on trigger enter. And in order to use that, you have to check this box. You see, this trigger. So just change this collider to the trigger type by check this one. Okay, now let's see. So now what we have, now we can create on trigger enter here, and if other game object tag equal to coin, that's mean we're gonna print out coin collector. Okay, so now it should work. Okay, no. Oh, yeah. Error key mistake. We have to add the tag also. That's how we check whether it hits the coin or not. Yes. So now you can see here in the console, it's gonna print out when I hit the coin, but still the player still will be able to go through it like this. Okay, that's it. What else do we need to do? Yeah, so now we're gonna implement the pooling system. Okay, so instead of like adding a bunch of coin in the editors, we're gonna use a code to generate it instead. So first thing first, we're gonna have to create the prefab. So anyone still remember what the prefab is? So prefab is a template of things that you want to clone it, right? If you have a person that you want to clone, then you create a prefab or the template that you can reuse it or clone it. And then you use the code to instantiate it. That's how you clone things. So I'm gonna create a prefab of coins. How to do it? You just drag it into here, into this window, whatever folders you want. In this case, I use prefabs folders. Try to be organized, and then I just delete it like this because I'm gonna use the code to instantiate it instead of just dragging into the scene in the editor. So yeah, first thing first, I'm gonna create coin prefab, which is a game object, so that like when I want to instantiate it, I can just reference to this variable. It's called coin prefab. Prefab is just template, okay? Just to make sure that you can remember it. And then we have the coin array, to keep it. And then we also have what? The coin array size maybe equal to 3 first. What else? What else do we have? Do we need to do? Oh yeah, because we're gonna also randomize the position, right? So for the z-axis, we're not gonna, we're gonna set it 0, because in this game, every characters, the coins, the player are in the same z-axis, which is 0s. So we're not gonna mess with it. But for the y-axis, so we have the point of reference. Maybe it's 3 above the ground. So make sure that it's above the ground. And then we can randomize in the range of, like along this line. And also the same to the x-axis, right? So it's gonna, randomize within this area. So yeah, I'm gonna use float and coin respawn position y first, maybe equal to 3, and then coin respawn position y ing random number generation. It's gonna randomize between -1 or -1 and 1. That's what I want. We can change it later. And then for the x, also ing. Okay, so now first we're gonna create a new function called awake. So awake is similar to the start function. So start will be called on the first frame, but awake will be called even before the first frame. Okay, that's what I want. I want the game to be, like when the first frame start, the coins are already there. That's why I use awake. So coin array equal to new game object. If you remember, if you learn data structure already, array has a fixed size. So you have to specify the size of the array at the beginning. So that's why I have to create a new array with the exact size here. And then what else? For loop, right? We're gonna create the number of coins based on here, coin array size equals 0, I equal coin array size, and plus. Okay, and then coin array instantiate. We're gonna clone the coin prefab. For the position, okay, let's do this. We try to be more efficient. We try to write a cleaner code. So let's see. So for the x-axis, no, I should do it here. 10 position, okay. 10 position. What do we want? X, okay. For the x, we're gonna randomize between what? Between coin respawn position x ing. So coin respawn x ing and coin respawn x ing. This one gonna be negative. Okay, now we have x. Y, how about y? we're gonna use coin respawn position y plus. So this is the offset, right? At least the first point that we're gonna use as a reference is 3, right? I put it 3 here. So this is the offset, and then we're gonna randomize here, which is coin respawn position yig. And then for c axis, it has to be 0. And then I'm gonna put it here like this. And then for the rotations, maybe just use, you know, like this. Just use the default rotation. Okay, then let's see if it works. Oh, no. I almost forgot. I have to add the reference here so that it knows what is going to be the prefab that we're going to clone at the beginning of the game. Okay, so at least now it will automatically instantiate a bunch of coins at the beginning of the game. Then this is where the coin, when the coin is collected. So what we're gonna use is the coroutine. So the next thing, we want it to respawn after it's collected, right? And before respawning, we're gonna wait 3 seconds. So if you remember, we learned about the coroutine. Coroutine conceptually, I want to emphasize that conceptually because actually it's not the same as threads, but conceptually it's kind of similar to the thread. Okay, so in this case, when we tell the program to wait 3 seconds before respawning the coins, we don't want the game to freeze, right? Because actually inside the Unity, how behind the scene is gonna just run through each live code one by one. So that's a single thread. So in order to, you know, like use wait, in order to tell it to wait 3 seconds but still keep the main game flow going, we have to use the coroutine. And this is how you write the coroutine. You return new wait 4 seconds pref. Okay, so start coroutine. Okay, respawn point. Yep. So when the player collide with the coin, we're gonna start the coroutine. Okay, and then so first thing first, we need the reference to the coin. So I just add the parameters so that I can send out here. Game object, sorry. Don't forget that you have to pass along the same type of variables as the parameters that you define here, right? I want a game object, so the other is a collider, so I have to use its game object. Yeah, so first thing first, I'm gonna set active to false to deactivate it, and then after that, for 3 seconds, it's true. Okay, and we also have to reposition it first. We have to randomize the positions. Let's see. Oh, actually, I should, you know what? I should create a new function here. Let's do it differently this time. We're gonna return the vector 3 instead and randomize position. Okay, we're gonna create a new function. Let's see. So I'm gonna move it here instead. How we did it here. I'm gonna put it here. Okay, and then I'm gonna just return it. If that makes sense. And then randomize position. Okay. So now we can use this function whenever we want to randomize the position, and it's gonna return as the vector 3. So in this case, right, we want to reposition to function that we already created. Okay, so let's see. I think it should work, right? I think we do everything correctly. Okay. Yes. Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot something. So, player inside the rigid body, as the rigid body, I can add the constraints. I want to freeze the z-axis so that it's not going like further or like closer or like away from the cameras. I want it to still keep the same z-axis, which is 0s. So yeah, right now we already did the object pooling system, as well as, you know, like instead of dragging the coins into the scene at the beginning, right now we instantiate all of them by the code. Okay, the next thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna make the coin spin, right? So this is a coin. I'm gonna create the new script called coin spin, and then add the coin spin into the coin. Okay, and to update the prefab, do not forget that we have to apply all here. Click on the overrides and apply all. In this case, it's gonna override the prefab. I'm gonna delete it. To make the coin spin, anyone remember how to do it? So for every frame, we want it to rotate, right? Inside the transform. Rotate is a function that needs two parameters. One of them is the vector 3, the Eulers, like which angle, which direction you want it to rotate every frame in this case. And another thing is the space. This is gonna be the world space or local space. You can define it. So if we wanted to, you know, like spin in this way, like this is a coin, you spin like this, then you have to spin on the y-axis. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is new vector 3 again, 0, 1, 0. So we're gonna spin only on the y-axis, and then space is gonna be the world space. Yeah, let's see, it should work. Yes, so we have it. The coins already spent. Yeah, so next we have to add the particle effect. So you guys still remember the particle effect, you can create it here, particle system here, effect, which is similar to the Spark AR, right? Not that hard. So again, you can change all the attributes here in the inspector. So for each one of them, you can play along with it. Like let's say the start size, right now is a little bit too big. So you can define a constant. Where is it? Here. Right now it's 1. But you can also change. Instead of using the constant, you can use the curve. You can use the random between 2 constants, which I'm gonna use it here. Okay, not bad, right? And then there's a bunch of things you can check and uncheck and expand it to set it like this. I want 50 particles generated every second in this case. And starting colors, I want gradient. Yeah, so you can do whatever you want here. Just gonna go like this. Okay, not bad, huh? Then the yellow. Okay, not bad, not bad. Okay, I think it's better. What else? What else? Maybe speed. I want it to be more spontaneous, like 10, 25. Oh shit, I think it's too fast. I want to add the noise. So this is the noise that is gonna add into the animation. I think it's too fast actually. Actually I love it though. Maybe like this. I think this is better. What else? What else do we want to do? Yeah, let's see. Okay, duration is too long. Okay, and don't forget, like I unchecked the looping here because or else it's gonna keep going like this, right? Non-stop. But I want it to be spontaneous, like a one-time animation. So I uncheck it. So it's gonna play just once. Okay. I have it there, and I want to add it to the coin. Use it as the shine of the coin, and don't forget to override it like this. So what it does is this particle effect gonna get played when the coin is instantiated only once, and that's what we want. We override already. Okay, then it should look like what we want. Oh wait, I forget it, because I think right now, because you see the coin is rescale actually, right? So the children also get the rescale effect along with its parents. So you have to make sure that scaling is right. I think it's good. Okay, we did the animation, we did the object pooling system. What else? What else? Do you want to add the materials? Maybe I can just add the materials quickly. Okay. So what do we need? We need the materials for what? for the flow, for the player, and also we need for the coin. Then just the same thing that I use so many times. So for the coin, I'm gonna use no. Okay, prefab coin. Okay, I'm just gonna drag it like this. So you guys know how to assign the materials and the textures, right? Kind of similar to the Spark AR. Nothing fancy. Anyway, just go with this. All right. Okay. And then we're gonna add the sound effects. So we create audio. So what do we have? We have a Facebook sound kit. Okay, not bad. Tab 2. Oh, I forget. These are MP3 files, so you have to convert it. You can just search like. So in this case, it's MP3 to WAV. Okay, just do it. So you can just use this thing to convert it, which I already converted. Here, yeah. Or do you guys want a new music? Facebook audio library. I think YouTube also had its own sound collection or the audio library for the creators, so you can also use that. Okay, let's go with what? Let's go with hip hop, maybe.
Okay, I'm trying to give me a chauffeur sitting in the belly with segregated with designer on better.
Oh my god. Okay, let's go. Yeah. Whatever you want, okay? Just be creative. Okay, now I have the music ready, I think. Okay, so download it. I put it here, just drag and drop into the asset folders and create a new empty game object called music player. And then I add the audio source. So audio source is some kind of like the audio source. The name already tells what it is. Just drag and drop here. Play on awake, yes. Loop, yes. Maybe I want it to not too loud, so I change the volume to 0.2. Okay, and then we're gonna play the audio, the sound effect when the coin is respawning and when the coin is collected. You see? So there are two things. There is the audio source, which is the source of the sounds, on the audio player, you may say it like that. And the audio clip is the audio file that you want to play, or the clip that you want to play. So in this case, there's a clip when the coin collect. And that's the audio clip for the when the coins respawn. Okay. Then we need the audio source here. Actually, this thing. Okay, it should be. Okay. I should also add the audio source here. Yes. And then I can just, you know what? I can just use the code to reference it. Player. And now don't forget to assign when the coins collect. Let's play the sound. When it's respawn, let's play the sound. So when it's collect, audio source gonna play. Okay. No. As you can see, if you remember, the function or the class start with the capital letter, but the variable start with the lowercase. So in this case, I know for sure that this is wrong because I want to reference to the variable, so it has to be lowercase. You start to see the usefulness of having the correct naming convention. Play one shot? No. One shot. And then click on collect. Yeah. And when it's respawn, I'm gonna play click on respawn. Okay, let's go. Not bad. Okay, another thing that we want to add is the rate of when on floor. Right? When it's on the floor, then audio source play one shot. Audio source another click on floor. Okay. And then you need to add, gosh, which one? No, it's here. Okay. And then where's it? Okay. Put it here. Okay. I think it should work. Okay. What else do we have to do? I think we finished everything, right? I think we finished everything, pretty much. Okay. Done. Okay, last thing, make the scene unique. So you can go to the asset store here. I think most of you, this is how the editor looks like in your laptop. So you can go to asset store, you can search sky box, because I want to find the sky box, and You don't want to pay for anything. Should whatever you want, and just import it. Okay, we're gonna see some kind of things like this. And done. Okay, we have the materials already. I want to change here the lighting. So if you don't have the lighting tab here, you can go to Windows and I think rendering. Yeah, rendering and lighting settings. Click on it, and I think it's gonna kind of looks like some kind of like this. I think I just drag to here, and you can see that you can add the materials of the skybox to anything you want. So I add it. Oh, and you can play with the lighting too. Like lighting, there's the directional light, there's a point light. I'm gonna use a point light. Okay, 0, 0. No. Z-axis is the blue one. Not that bad, right? Then okay. If you are into if you did the photography or like the videography before, I think you would know how to make the lighting looks good. But anyway, I think this is good enough. So yeah. So I hope that you will be patient with yourself, okay? Just try to follow along, but at least try to try to understand, at least what is going on, okay? And yeah, don't forget to submit by Wednesday at 2:45 p.m. And yeah, enjoy your vacation. Good luck.